Please.
Podcast. This is a podcast. Just let me have this podcast.
We're not going to do that.
We should play every one of them in succession for
Yeah,
like
just go
7
through
minutes of theme
Just
songs.
run it back.
Just back to
so, yeah, welcome to Just Let Me Have This. This is a podcast about trying to figure out what the podcast should be about. We are taking a break from our mini-series of Choose Your Main for Monsters and Memories to do sort of a retrospective on MMOs, multi-modern, multi-operating systems.
Not gonna work here anymore. That's for sure.
Just totally blanking on the old acronym
Mega
for what
mind
MMOs
operating
is.
system.
Massively
multiplayer, online role-playing games. We probably have a collective 80 years of experience.
Oh yeah, doing this like law firms do their
playing
experience.
them. Yeah. If you think about it, I was thinking like, how many hours do we probably have collective? And I was like, well, like Malcolm Gladwell says, you need like 10,000 hours to be like a professional tennis player or whatnot. But I wonder what our combined hours would be. Probably like 50,000 if I had to guess.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Let's mull on that for a little bit.
Can you estimate how many hours you play? I mean, we could slash played WoW and FF14, but
there's just so many games. Like, anyway, we'll get to that later. I'm Jesse. I'm joined by my 3 glorious co-hosts, Partrak, Pat.
Yeah.
Crispin, Chris, aka Moose's Wild, aka I was gonna just like dox you, as well as Steven, newly returned father from from the war torn shores of an infant. So, how's everyone feeling? Chris, you had a tough week. You want to reflect on that before we get into this?
No.
All right, Pat, how are you feeling, buddy?
Me?
Is that me?
No, Pat.
Oh, I'm fucking great. I feel so good at everything. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, guys, it's a fucking show. So
time
like,
out.
bring your heat, okay?
I'm bringing
There's
the
no
heat, man.
heat.
I just want to say it's so good to see Steven right now. It's really good.
How
to
did
see
you
him.
get little, like, it says Dorkman under your name? How did you do that?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it does
It
say
does.
Dorkman. Oh, yeah. I think I was messing around. So if you, we don't have to do this now. But if you click
do
your
me a favor,
name,
don't
if you click your
change
name
your
right
names.
now, you can just add a title underneath it.
Oh,
I would ask you not to do that because
It doesn't show.
It changes audio tracks.
Oh.
So it makes processing take longer.
We're
And
not
it's
gonna do
not
that.
funny.
I'm just bringing the heat, man. I'm bringing the heat.
It's not funny when our engineer is also our host, is also our showrunner, is also our marketing guy. Okay, this is a professional operation.
I feel
doesn't make me
so
laugh.
unprepared to be back because like I left and then all of a sudden you guys became famous and now here I am, lost and clueless. So I feel like I represent 1% of the MMO. Oh my God, does that make you a professional video gamer? What a cool thing that we fucking have. Look at us. We're professionals.
Yeah.
So I will say we've gone from viewer to viewers, and not many, but
we
do
have a chat.
more than one now. Which was my mom didn't even watch us.
It makes us professional losers.
We're not professional gamers. We're professional losers. No.
Yeah.
Either way, I just want to say it's very good to see you, Steven. I miss you, buddy.
Yeah, I miss you guys.
Likewise. It's bad when you're not around.
Yeah. My heart hurts.
Feel that.
I
My
miss
heart
your
goes
musk.
on. All right. Let's go into this. So I put together some corpo slides, as I'm wont to do.
It's part of the
Share my
charm,
screen.
honestly. At
Pat,
this
I
point.
figured out the full screen
Yeah.
for you. Did some testing, so you don't scream at me when the show is
might.
over.
I might still do it.
Is this, you guys see it a little better?
I do.
Okay, cool. No border and stuff like that. It looks clear.
It's pretty good to
That's
me.
dope.
Cool. I can't see chat anymore, so if you guys can sort of monitor the old chat. Oh, I can open chat. Oh, look at oh my God, this is all working in totally nicely. I can
Look
see
at
everything.
that.
So without giving it away, I sort of thought about MMOs in terms of 3 phases. The phase 1 probably runs from like 1996 to like 2005, 2006. Phase 2 sort of starts in the 2007 era and sort of bleeds into like 2016, 2017, and sort of phase 3. There's some like overlap there as well. Goes from like 2017 to like roughly now. And I say roughly now because I wanted to do one more slide, but I didn't have time to. So it stops now. So I want to bring us back to 1996, 1997. The first game here, the earliest game here is Distant Lands. And that was Pat. You were an 11-year-old man at that point. 1996.
A wee lad.
I don't know if it was that early.
I mean,
It might have
Ultima
been.
came out in 1997. Were you playing them at the same time?
I don't know. The first MMO that I actually remember playing, oh man, that's gonna bother me. We used to play it in the library. Utopia. Utopia.
Oh, Utopia. Well, that was
does
like
Utopia count as an MMO? Because
I think it's got to.
we played the shit out of that, buddy.
I don't know if there was a lot of role playing involved, but
Oh,
you
it for
were
surely was.
playing
Like if
with
you were like
other
a dwarven
people
kingdom, you were like attacking other people in like a dwarverly way, for sure.
No,
Hang on, let him cook.
No,
What is
Hold on,
dwarverly?
I would
way
argue
mean?
there was role playing because at the start of like a season, you chose your like kingdom race type, right?
yeah,
And it like changed how you interacted with the game, like because of the type of kingdom I at least assumed the role of that kingdom. Elisa used to play RuneScape in the library. You assumed that role, and like it sort of changed how you played the game. So if you were like the elves, like you would play it one way, and if you were like the undead, you would play another way. At least I did.
different races had different bonuses that I guess would impact the way that you would play, but I don't know if that constitutes like role playing. You're just like you're playing into a racial bonus to like min-max the game.
I would say I would put it
I don't
in
know.
like an MMO strategy genre. Like it is definitely. I would say it's MMO for sure. But I don't think it is an RPG. No, I think it is more of a text-based strategy game. Like what's that one? Diplomacy. Like Diplomacy.
Yeah. But I sort of thought of this phase 1 as like these are worlds that you exist in. Like you are just a peon. You're not a hero. You are just one guy.
I think the
gal.
like the world of Utopia did exist whether you were in it or not. Like you could still be attacked if you weren't online and stuff like that. The Distant Lands was a MUD that I played. 11 sounds early, but maybe it was. But that was I mean, if you don't know what a MUD is, the multi-user dungeon, it's all text-based RPG type elements. So like you'll get a room description and then they'll tell you the exits are north, south, east, and west. You type that direction in and then you'd move around, and that's how you got around to the game. And there were monsters and stuff in there, and you have to be like attack this and type it all in, and everything was completely text based. But there was also like you were role playing, you were talking to other characters in the game and leveling up and advancing your character that way.
A lot of chicks.
There was at least 3 that were definitely guys.
Colin Wells is saying Tibia was my first MMO. I'd love to know more about Tibia because that sounds like a bone to me.
Yeah.
Tibia. Oh damn. Okay.
I will say there's quite a few I left off. Like I went off the list of MMOs on Wikipedia, and there's a gajillion on there.
MMOs,
yeah. But I mostly put the ones that I think I knew at least one of us played at some point. But what was it like that got you guys? Steven, what was your first experience? Was it Ultima?
Yeah, 100% it was Ultima.
What was like the first like tingling feeling of being like, oh, this is it?
See, it was absolutely the role-playing aspect, because the shard I was introduced to was strict RP only. I mean, I didn't really know how to PvP at the time. Not that I was any good when I knew how to do it, but Yeah, it was just like this. You had to stay in character. And then when I found, I think a lot of my enjoyment, a lot of my middle school into high school, not sleeping, staying up all night was building my own shard, customizing my own scripts, getting my own role player base. Um, so it was different, so I think from strict role playing to then hosting a community and being addicted to holy shit, we have 24 players online, holy shit, we have 27 players online. And yeah, just that fucking yeah, dude, everyone wants to come in and play a virtual D&D game, and
Yeah.
it's limitless. You can create fucking weapons, you can do whatever you want.
I know. It's so cool. Chris, what was your first toe dip?
I definitely started Distant Lands with Pat. I'm trying to rack my brain because a lot of those things is very interesting because things we use in gaming today came from those
Everything
mods
from
in
gaming.
particular, and Ultima in particular. Shard is still in use today, and Shard was what Ultima defined their servers as. Because it was shards of Sosaria, right? It shattered into the shards of Sosaria, and that was how they named their servers, so Catskills Atlantic. And it's very interesting because now I work in games, and I'm like, oh shit, all this etymology is actually still used in game development as a thing that you use as an analog to describe a
Sharding.
thing. So interesting. But yeah,
I thought that was such a cool way to just how to explain why there would be multiple copies of the same world. I thought that was such a cool idea. When they said servers, it just took that whole element out of it. I thought that was such a cool idea.
Yep. And yeah, I think proc, the term proc I think came from MUDs. I can't remember what the etymology was, but
Process.
Was it process? It would be
I believe. I think it kicks off a process. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So I I would say Distant Lands was my first foray because Pat got me into it, but I wouldn't say I went hard into Distant Lands. Ultimate was 100% where I it moved from game to lifestyle and or hobby for me, and I put way too many hours into Ultima, and then the rest was history from there. But yeah, I would say Distant Lands and UO were first big ones.
Yeah. And we were right in that sweet spot of being 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, where access to computers, you had it either at school, we in the tiny little library thing, the 3 or 4 sort of computers they had there, or if you were lucky enough, you had a PC at home. Parents worked till 5 or 6, so they weren't home, and you were they were also naive as to what you were doing, so there's no supervision there. So it was this perfect sweet spot of being probably the precise, and we weren't we weren't so social, we were chasing girls, because we were still a little too young for that, 10, 11, you're just on the cusp of that, so you still have that you still have that sort of youth and immaturity to I just want to play video games with my boys, I just want to blast some chocolate chip cookies and
some
drink
Jones
Dr.
soda.
Pepper, just some Jones soda. If we were we were in this 3 or 4 year window to really be popping in terms of, if we were later, we would have, if we were a few years older, we would have been busy being social and popular and being the captain of the football team, which we all would have been
For sure.
If we were younger,
lifestyle investment choices, right?
yeah, we would have bought a house. I think if we were just a few years older, we would have invested in real estate and been rich by now.
What craft do you think we would have perfected if not gaming?
We'd have been the Wright brothers, inventing flight.
I would have mastered
planing
the harpsichord.
And if we were a few years younger, we would have been on the not on the first wave of MMOs, but we would have been late. We would have been Lich, we would have played WoW when Lich King came out, as opposed to when Classic came out. We would have been what do they call it? What's the expression for that, Pat? Lich babies or something like that? Wrath babies. Wrath babies.
Yeah.
I think one of the first things that gripped me to, I think a good indicator of any game is when you're not doing it, you're thinking about it. And I remember being at school and one Christmas I got like, I don't know, FF9, and like, you would sit there and you would think about it, and like, but nothing would progress until you got there. It was only until like the MMO era or the Ultima era where, like, Jesse, to your point, right? Like, Chris and you guys were 4 years, right? So you actually in high school got out way earlier, maybe like an hour, than I in middle school. So it was like, holy shit, they're doing shit, and I can't. And then, like, I think that's where my FOMO was born. Um, and then yeah, just that driver of like, if you're not in it, you're not with it. That was another level.
Yeah, I think like phase one is, if I'm breaking down my mentality when starting to play MMOs, I think phase one is best described as like the Magellan phase, right? Like it's pure unbridled discovery at all times, just dopamine hits, and usually with people you care about. And you start to invest in, and at that point you have near infinite personal bandwidth, and games were more than games. They were second life, like Ultima. And I missed the EverQuest train, but Ultima was like, you could play Ultima without ever engaging in combat and have a very fulfilling experience. And I think that was a big thing, and it's something that I think modern MMOs are missing. And it's one of the things I think Monsters and Memories, draws me in, is because like it was more hobby than game, and they built around uh combat being an aspect of it, and definitely a key aspect, but not the driving aspect and not the sole carrot that you chase.
Yeah,
Um
you're talking around exactly what I was going to talk to, because these games, like, the other players were the content. It wasn't like the quests or like the next carrot on the stick. Obviously, you had the appeal of like, I want to get gear, but like it was the other people you played with who were like, they generated the dopamine, not like the in-game store.
Another thing that I think that gets very overlooked, looking back at the early days of MMOs, is that's like, it's how we kept in touch with each other. Like, it was not like, no one had cell phones. We weren't texting each other. Like, if we wanted to hang out and talk, like, we could each be in our own houses and playing together, but like separately, but also still being able to fully interact and socialize and talk with each other the entire time.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's one of
Yeah.
those things where like, could you have theoretically gotten together as a group with your favorite friends and gone out into the woods and like played pretend and achieved the same dopamine hits out in the world as you could in a game? Yes, but it is so much simpler to log in using AOL and then kicking your parents off the phone
Mhm.
and getting onto Ultima with your bros and sisses, um, and just jamming out and like still getting a similar, if not the same, level of excitement and danger and adventure while never leaving your house. And it was just like, I don't know, that's unrivaled in that
Yeah.
level of play.
I would say it was more like, because you're not only are you playing with friends, but you're like a warrior and you're like fighting dragons. Like, this is the kind of stuff that like it was on like cartoons that like hopefully you caught, because you weren't like putting it on your DVR, or like you weren't going to Netflix. Like, we were like so starved for like entertainment that we actually wanted to engage in. Like, Pat and me saw Contact.
Yeah, the movie was terrible.
In the
What a
theater.
low, what a low to go
It
live.
just shows you had nothing else to do. But like, you're playing with your friends, but you're also like, the game has all these support systems to obviously build the fantasy around you. Like, there's a giant over there, and like, if you have the right spell and I have the right abilities, like, we can take it down together, and maybe it has something cool on it. Like, it just sort of, it was just it unlocked this like part of your brain. I think that was the thing. MMOs were like a new color. I probably use this analogy too much, but it was like a color you'd never seen before. And like, when you first started playing it, you're like, oh my God, this is actually the only color I ever want to look at again. Uh, so yeah, I think, but I wonder, like, when did phase one, I mean, when did it run out for you guys? Like, and personally speaking, it ran out for me because I joined the military, so I had to like step out. I don't know what my life would have been like if I didn't do that.
I do have a question though, Jesse. And
Yeah,
it pertains, and Pat. Okay, so this is interesting because in our current guild, in Monsters and Memories, fantastic guild, I love them to death. I notice, and I don't think I've ever quite noticed this, but this is the first guild I've really run with that is mostly strangers or people I don't know, because I have like a work guild for WoW and stuff like that, and I played with mostly friends. And I noticed like there is a Venn
Mostly
diagram.
Friends seems like the worst version of OnlyFans.
It's feet pics, but they're free because you all know everybody.
Join me on Mostly Friends.
Join me on Mostly
Hey, I'm
Friends.
Carl.
It's just
You can subscribe.
It's
Sorry,
just
go ahead.
I share like recipe, like pictures of steaks that I cooked. Just what friends do. So I've noticed it feels like there's a Venn diagram I haven't noticed before, that there's a overlap in military or ex-military that seem to play
Oh yeah.
MMOs, and
Yeah.
I'm curious if like that perspective is like that was your way to connect during that time, and like if you were able to play while deployed or anything like that. But yeah, I'm just curious about that, your take on that, because I'm like, oh, a lot of folks I talk to are like
Tons of
ex-military.
nerds. Yeah, tons of nerds. My first roommate in Korea, he was like the neatest guy in the world. He was like a kind of nerdy guy, had like glasses, a little older, maybe he was like 22 or 23 versus my 18. And he had this like amazing like Dell computer setup, and I was like moved into him, and like the first thing I saw him doing is he was playing Neverwinter, like the isometric, and he played like through all those isometric games.
Yeah.
And I like eventually got a computer that ran City of Heroes at the time because it came out in 04, and I like at that point I was still swearing off WoW for some reason. I was like, City of Heroes is definitely the next game. But like so yeah, there are a lot of nerds in the military, certainly in the army. I can speak to that. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I never noticed that before, and I'm like, oh, 2/3 of our, well, I guess 50% now, because Steven is here. Welcome, Steven. Love you. 50% of our friend group is ex-military that plays MMO. So I didn't know if that was happening. I'm like, oh yeah, wow. I guess there is a lot of.
For me, it was like an easy way to keep in touch with people. Like I would hang out with like Joe and Brendan would play but on WoW and stuff with me. So like anytime I logged in, like one of them was on. So like it was a connection to home, so I could still chat and talk with people and stuff. I was still doing like distant lands around that time too, just here and there, would hop in and out. It's obviously not nearly as good as WoW was, but I would still hop in there, say what's up to people. But does WoW still count as phase 1? I feel like WoW would have been phase 2.
No, I see WoW as phase 1 because it's like true classic WoW is like you are just a dude in the world. It was very much.
That's
well,
fair.
You're looking at like that's
City
like
Heroes.
a 10-year span.
Well, no, so I'll get into phase
from like
2.
Ultima to WoW. That's like a very big jump.
I think that is like, and World of Warcraft sort of proves the viability of the model. So, before WoW, there was a handful of companies that released games like this because they were so intensive and so expensive to launch. But it was only in like 06, 07 did you see all the sort of WoW clones, and that's sort of the phase 2. It's like you go into the WoW clones and this is also when WoW was like hitting its peak in terms of subscribers, probably not like game design, but subscribers around Lich King. But I mean, maybe you disagree, but I view Classic and BC as basically like spiritual successors to EverQuest, and that they were sort of the same design. Sort of the same design.
I could see that. I think that early WoW, I'll give that to you. Phase 1, City Heroes.
They evinced the same like wonder. It was like, like what's over there? Because there was no website to go check out what was over there. If you played Warcraft 3, you knew some history, but I bet very few actual WoW players played Warcraft 3 to its completion. Probably like 20%. Maybe I'm wrong. Did you, Pat?
No, I never played the only Blizzard games I had played prior to that was StarCraft. I didn't play any of the Warcraft games. I really only got into Warcraft because other people told me like, this is the new MMO, you need to play this. And I was like, well, what else am I doing with my life? I might as well. And I mean, I'm still playing it today, so like it was the right choice. It's a great fucking game.
So yeah, you'll give me phase 1, Chris?
I'll give you. Yeah, I think WoW definitely is like the death of Phase One. Is also the I think capstone to Phase One. But yeah, I think the decisions that they made absolutely influence your Phase Two, which is the WoW clone era. City of Heroes, though, I think is part of that WoW clone conversation. But it's tough to say.
The
And not
only
worth
reason
debating.
I think City Heroes. So City Heroes came out at like the same time as WoW.
Close.
It was 04. It came out in 04. It might have even come out before.
Yeah, that's fair.
It might that's worth look. I don't want to look into it because I might ruin my client here. But maybe someone can look at like the wiki.
I'll do it.
But
You're probably
it
right.
it came out like very close.
But I think the key thing that I think World of Warcraft
Came out
invented
almost
during this.
That was like 7 months before
7
WoW
months
was
before.
released.
Yeah.
It's April of 2004.
Wow.
WoW didn't release until late November.
Yeah.
All right, I take it back. But like, yeah, I guess I don't know. I
You
don't
can
know how long the
argue
beta phase was and
popularized.
everything.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing that City Heroes also did that WoW I think brought in was like the very clear theme park vibe versus sandbox, right? Like they ushered in the theme park style MMO.
They had some quests, dude, but like not. It wasn't like WoW. It was like you could quest from 1 to, and I know you couldn't go from 1 to 60 without grinding, but you could certainly get from like 1 to 53 in WoW with grinding. You couldn't do that in City of Heroes. Like I
Yeah, 'cause you
never
had the
went
yeah.
past 40 in City of Heroes because I was like, oh, I just gotta grind the rest of the way. Like this is, I kind of don't want to do that. Did you like how high a level did you ever get one of your people in City of Heroes or villains?
Yeah, I think it was in the mid
I
to
never
late
played
40s.
Heroes.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played Heroes. I think I played Villains for
Villains,
like
yeah.
a hot minute, and then that was about it. I mean, it would have been less than 2 weeks, and I was like,
We
"Why am I
sold you on it
playing
pretty
this? WoW
hard.
exists."
We sold you on it pretty hard, and you were like, I don't get gear. I get these like dumb gems.
Yeah,
And I was
and
like,
WoW
yeah,
was,
like,
I was like,
you
this
can't
is
get
not
gear.
gonna be better than WoW. And that was like what really crushed most WoW clones was like I wanted it to be better. Every time I wanted it to be better, and then I would play it with like the most rose-colored or tinted glasses I could have to be like, this is 100% better than WoW. And like 3 weeks into it, I'm like, this is not it. It's not better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Come
that they
crawling
had a
back.
very it's like obviously City of I picked up on City of Villains. I was not a City of Heroes player, but I was a City of Villains player and I loved it. So I don't know what was in vanilla release. But I remember they had like really cool system with like the sidekick system and their like they had like the raids. I can't remember what they were called, but
Task forces. Those
Ye-
are later, I think.
but you would go into buildings and there would be like instance build. They were
Those are like
essentially
dungeons. Yeah, dungeons. Yeah,
but I can't remember
yeah.
what they're called. But like I remember leveling pretty handily through those. Like,
Yeah.
but they had quests for sure in Sea of
They
H.
definitely had quests, but not in the same way that it just wasn't it didn't have a, you know how in WoW there was the same thing because every WoW zone had like a quest line you can go through. City Heroes did that too, but just like not as well because there was no exclamation points. You had to like go find the NPC and like click on them and like hopefully they would have something for you. So like they didn't quite get it. They didn't quite figure out the exclamation point fucking system. Right?
yeah.
The hey,
It's changed
fucker,
everything.
go here.
Hey, go here, do this thing. Here next carrot. Go.
this way. Yeah.
Dopamine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like no, but I guess my point is like where I kind of and I think where Pat is getting to, where I view the end of phase 1 is players become less the centerpiece of storytelling and
Yes.
more of your cooperative
Yes.
how to overcome challenges specifically where challenges equals combat, right? And I think like combat becomes the focus, Second Life becomes less the focus, but they built systems then carrots that make it so that it's still a time absorbing hobby, but combat is still the focus.
Yeah. So phase 2, I always see as like the locust phase. Like people would go in there because they were already practiced from WoW or the other games they play. And they would just go there and like, and these games also released generally always before they were done. So players would always go in there, rip through all the content they had, say, oh, there's no like end game rating, there's no molten core, there's no Onyxia. and then they would just go back to WoW because these games were always released half-baked, and they never had like time.
Ooh, buddy, you're
Well,
gonna.
I mean,
That's a spicy take. The
Nah,
Warhammer Online
that's
Age of Reckoning.
100%.
God.
Yeah, that is
as
100%
a
accurate statement.
that is the game I'm most
FF14
familiar with.
is not. I will give you.
The initial
this
release
is OG.
was
This is OG. Yes. Okay. I will give
Mhm.
you. I'm like pre A Realm Reborn. Absolutely. Okay.
the
yes.
initial release was dog balls.
Yes.
So
Was the Old Republic borked? Because I
It
feel like
was-
that was pretty good out of the gate.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like the first dungeon didn't even work. Like I was in release on that game, and like the level 16 dungeon wouldn't even fucking work. And like you just had one dungeon at level
For
16.
SWTOR?
Yes.
No shit. Okay, because I
Yes.
played on release. Oh, I remember release was. I mean, if we want to talk about botched launches, that's every single The fucking WoW just released TBC for the 80th time, and they fucked.
Yep.
So I mean, like, yes, botched launch aside, I still think the games.
No,
were
it's
there,
it's
right?
not. No, they weren't. That was really what the issue was. They were so rushed and so pushed out the door with like half the content missing. Like there was like 8 classes in Warhammer Online that they just bailed on
They
and
lost the
pushed
whole
the game
city.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
whole city,
there's
I
the amount
remember
of
that.
shit that they cut just to get the game out on time, and then they're like, "Well, why is it doing bad?" And like Warhammer also, I don't know if you guys know this one. They like accidentally overcharged people. Like they charged people like
Yeah.
128 times for
Yeah,
like a sub, and then
thousands
they're
of
like,
dollars.
"Whoops!"
Yeah.
Like the amount of shit that they pulled, and like the game was it was just half-ass garbage. Like you went into it excited. There was some really cool things to get excited about, and then you did them, and you're like, "Wait, that's it? That's all there is to do?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, well, we're working on it."
Okay,
there's-
I will.
there's just nothing else.
I will walk back. I will accept that. I think that's accurate. I do think Guild Wars 2 is clean though, and I do think Guild Wars 2 is a good game on launch.
I don't think I never played
Guild Wars 2 had a
2.
good launch, probably had the best launch, but it was also one of these games where you just walk in and you'd be with 50 other people just like swinging your blade, like you were too strong to begin with. Anyway, the better of like, so like before we go game by game, the better subtitle here would be like, what went right?
Yeah,
Because
that's fair.
Almost.
All of
like
these
Rift-
together is a good game.
Yeah, exactly.
All of these fully baked together make a good game.
So I played in depth Warhammer, Star Wars Old Republic, Arcade, Guild Wars 2, and Rift. And I think I played Lord of the Rings Online a little bit, but like much later after the fact. Did you guys ever touch Age of Conan or?
No.
I did not touch Age of Conan.
I did Warhammer, Rift, Arcade, and Old Republic.
I touched
I
FF14
didn't-
for like 10 minutes.
I didn't touch FF14. I did touch Lord of the Rings Online, but like you said, it was like well after it went free to play.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2, I never played. Age of Conan, I never played.
Yeah, I was Warhammer Online, FF14 for sure for a time, SWTOR for hundreds of hours. I
Yeah,
played
same.
that as recently as a few years ago.
I still
Guild Wars
go
2
in there
I
every once in a
still
while.
can load up. Yeah, Rift for sure because I was a defender of Rift right up to the end. I thought Rift was fucking awesome. And
thought- so Rift-
Arcade had I played the shit out of Arcade too, and I think Arcade was a better game than it got credit for, and it got murdered because of its out of game systems more so than its in game systems.
I would 100% agree with you on that. So Warhammer was like, I guess like the mindset going into these games was like people were, I don't want to say tired of WoW, but I guess they must have been tired of WoW.
Yeah,
Like they
they
just
were.
wanted something new, right?
You wanted the next big thing.
You wanted the next big thing. So it was-
Chasing Phase 1 though, right? Like I think that's
Yeah,
the
they're
fascinating
chasing
thing,
Phase
is you're
1.
chasing the Magellan phase and you're yearning for, and that was like kind of the introspective thing I took. I was like, what was I chasing in Phase 2? And Phase 2 was really like getting from Ultima to WoW. It was like that jump in worlds and world building and story building, like all of that, and like you're trying to recapture that first time of unbridled discovery in a color that you've never seen before, right? And like I think Jesse, you nailed it where you're like, it's a new color, right? I can't describe it because it's not made yet, or I haven't discovered it, but I'm looking for it, right? And
Yeah.
like it just never came. It was all like rehashing of similar systems or talent trees or things that you have experienced before with different flavors.
Ultimate Warhammer was like the proper progression. Like that's the timeline making sense. Like the systems got more complex, but not overly complex, not like Eve. But it like made sense to people. And it was user friendly and it like respected your time to compared to the other MMOs. It's weird to say like classic WoW respected your time, but it really did compared to the MMOs that came out before it. And it made sense. But going from WoW, which was developed starting in like 2002, 2001, 2002, 2003 into 2004 to these other games, Warhammer, I'll always sort of default to that, as well as SWTOR, because SWTOR was like it had like $100 million budget or something, or like some crazy budget because it had all the voice
and
acting.
it was BioWare, dude. Like it was
BioWare.
It had a pedigree to be the next big thing.
Everything was voice acted. Like you got into these games and you didn't realize like how refined WoW was. Not only like a Blizzard WoW, like Blizzard refinement, because back then Blizzard refinement actually meant something, but you also had like, because like on WoW release, it was pretty janky as well, and Molten Core was made in like an afternoon essentially, right? And you can kind of tell, but it took us a while to get there. And by the time these games already came out, they already had 2 years of just pumping stuff out. And we have another expansion coming out, and it's continuing the story in a way that makes sense. These games had to like compete with a WoW plus a WoW expansion on top of it. And they just always came up short. Even if like the flavor of the thing, Warhammer, which I would argue is like at its core a more interesting world to like exist in, or it's more edgy, it's like Megadeth versus Metallica basically.
It was 100% the edgelord WoW, right?
It was edgelord WoW.
It was designed to be PvP forward, but then they made the PvP like so unbelievably repetitive and not fun, and it was like
unbalanced.
So what are we doing here? Like you took like the thing that you're like saying is what you're going to be known for is like one of the worst parts of your game.
And I think it was it was Mythic, right? Like it was the Dark Age of Camelot, folks, and it was big on.
And they had a great pedigree.
Yeah,
Guild versus Guild, Realm versus Realm. I think it was Realm versus Realm, right? Was there
the Warhammer IP was fucking huge. Like that, they should have been just like printing money, and they just rushed the game out. It was never finished. It's like they had years to try and finish it, and they just never got there, and then went free to play. Game over.
Where are all my yearning squig herders at?
Yeah.
Steven, where were you at in this phase? Like this is 06, 07. Where are you at in life?
07 I'm graduating. I'm still heavily playing WoW. But I also was big into first person shooters. For me, I could never attach to these. Like I always remember playing UO and having that element of being able to create my own, and like they just took the game and gave it to you. That was a big element of what I loved, and not being able to do that, I felt like I could never compete because I was never as good from a PvP perspective. I never had the time to dig in, to level or grind. So I'm still probably playing WoW at this point. In between my accounts getting banned for purchasing gold or purchasing levels.
You're buying you're buying gold from Steve Bannon. That's actually a point. You guys know like Steve Bannon's like history with like selling gold on WoW, right?
No.
This is like dark lore. Steve Bannon.
How dark are we going?
Pretty dark. Steve Bannon, I believe when he was at Goldman Sachs, and we'll just leave that there. That sentence will end there. I believe while he was at Goldman Sachs, he got some of the firm's money and invested in a Chinese gold farm for WoW. And he is one of the first people, like the entrepreneurs who like made money off like Chinese gold farms and WoW.
He launched like RMT basically.
And it like
essentially
initiative. Or he like got onto it when it was still early, and then I think he took that money and he like he went to Hollywood for some time and like produced a movie or two, and then he moved into politics. I could be messing up the order of that, but I know that there's a connection. Like Goldman was like one of the progenitors of like Chinese gold farms, and he was like behind it.
It's just another
Wow.
notch on the resume, the sterling resume of the finance world. American
world.
finance, American finance, housing market,
Yeah.
your games, they're coming for everything.
But going back to the actual topic, I think a lot went wrong in this phase because I think they took the lessons of WoW, and the primary lesson of WoW, like that everyone saw on the surface, was you had a curated leveling experience, much more so than the other games before that. So like the leveling from 1 to 60, right? Old Republic took that and ran with it, and they did it probably the best because every class had its own unique quest. The problem with that is that you became the main character, which was a total 180 from WoW, because you were just like working for Thrall or working for Baby Anduin.
Yeah,
or
the whole thing
Bolvar.
was you were a nameless foot soldier in
Yeah.
whatever army you
Right.
sign on with. Right?
The opposite of what it is today.
Which
Yeah.
on paper like doesn't make sense that you'd want it to be that way, but in reality, like you get to imprint yourself on that dude as opposed to like being called like champion and hero. Like, thank you for saving me against the dark gods of the Nyalotha. Like, no, like you were just a dude like cutting down trees. Like,
Yeah. You
Waking
were
up-
doing
waking up
bitch work and it
peons.
felt great.
yeah, you're in Northshire, and you're like clubbing peons.
Not Northshire. How dare you?
Well, you know, the Northshire Abbey or whatever.
Elliot Trials, baby.
That was Durotar.
Durotar, yeah.
I was only an alliance guy from that.
But yeah, to your point, I think that is like a key thing about like EverQuest, Ultima, WoW. You're earning your way. You're building your own hero's story. You're not handed a hero's story. You're building your own legacy, right? And I think like that's the cool thing about, and I guess in other games you can achieve this with like lore level items you get. But I think like WoW and Ultima and EverQuest, like you're starting from nothing, and you're building your way up to your own. You're building your own story, and the characters you meet, the people you meet, they define your story. The real people that you meet define your story. Whereas like an FF14, a Star Wars: The Old Republic, your story is a narrative that is being told to you.
Yeah.
And it's a very different vibe. And yes, like you could come across someone who has Ashes of Alar, and that's an item that gives you instant street cred, right? And there are equivalents of that in other games, but it's not the same as like bootstrapping your way from a nothing burger into this legacy amongst community.
I think what I'm landing on is like phase 1 allowed you, or didn't have any guardrails to like prevent you from going off the beaten path. Like you would accidentally did the cat just knock something over? Or did your kid just
No,
knock
it was
something over?
Lori. Lori's doing, I don't know, something.
You would go off the beaten path, and because of that, you would like write your own adventure. Like for you in Monsters and Memories, you needed assistance with your Necro quest. You went to the other place. The dude helped you. It was a whole big story. Like with this bard, he helped you out. Blah 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 blah. And it's like this thing that's like imprinted on your head. But like I don't remember what my like mercenary story in the Old Republic was. No matter how well it was written, like I have no idea. I remember enjoying it at the time and being like, "Whoa, that was dramatic," but like nothing sticks. Like there's no stickiness to your actual narrative, right?
Yep, and there's something magical about like the friction in earlier games that at that time I think was unintentional. It was just either technically impossible or improbable, or game design improbable given the runway and time and money that people had and know-how that people had at the time. Just being a part of the community of helping people and getting help was like a big thing, and how your story was written. And like I don't remember the quest like in Monsters and Memories, great example, like the friction that exists in the game, and a very adding the mud commands and make it very difficult to operate in the game, yes, is frustrating. But the magic is like it becomes a chat a chat room where you leverage the community and their know-how to actually figure out how the game works and how the game operates. And it's almost like the game fuels chatting versus like
Social.
becoming and like
Other
it is
players.
it is yeah, it's just like a vessel for a chat room versus
Yeah.
the other way around versus the chat room serving the game. So it's like it's just an interesting paradox, or like the way that it's built, that I don't think newer games and phase 2 games, starting with phase 2 games, like ever captured again.
I would say this, like, they flipped the design on its head in terms of they made it more curated in terms of like gaining levels. They also made you the main character, which just like left it less narratively like authorial or active, like you were more passive. But they also launched terribly with incomplete features, with tons of bugs, tons of like server lag. So it was just like this double whammy. And like when we say like, oh, this launched well, it's like, okay, that's the one. Like Guild Wars 2
Yeah.
did launch well. I would give that.
Yes.
Arc Age was cool too, but the whole thing was based on like owning a plot of land, but they had much more players than plots of land. And they were like,
and became very
sorry.
predatory.
Yeah, it was super predatory. Rift was awesome. But it was based on awesomeness came from its gimmick, number one, of like public quests being introduced for the first time, as well as like the multi-class ability. Like holy shit, I still think that's their classes were like the coolest. Probably, you know, I wish like more games did that. The Old Republic was really cool because lightsabers, like you can be a Jedi. That's just cool.
Or an Inquisitor.
Yeah, lightsaber still. Yeah, but also like you can be like a ranged tank
nice.
with like awesome like like they had like really cool sound effects.
Troopers,
like,
yeah, were dope.
Remember the space combat? It was just like a
Space combat was actually an interesting one, but yeah, well, it did not. I don't think it landed the way they wanted.
But like those gimmicks only lasted so long, and like once your friends left, they would always go back to WoW, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna just be the only one here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Phase 2. I don't know. And Steven, you weren't doing anything during phase 2, right? You were not. You were out of these. You were still Ultima during phase 2.
I was.
We were playing
Yeah,
free servers at this point too, right?
As like I'm been in my current job for now, my 17th year. When I find something, I stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I admire that about you. I remember Age of Conan had swinging dicks. That was this big thing. It had a lot of
that was the feature that got
a lot of dick
coming
physics.
over.
Yeah, Rift, the open questing system that automatically joined you to parties and stuff, like on paper sounds great, but it meant that you didn't actually have to talk to anybody or interact with anybody. You could just show up, do something, and leave.
Yep.
And then that kind of like taking out that social aspect was probably the main downfall of the game. Because it's like, sure, you can get better gear and stuff if you're with other people while you're doing it, but like you're never going to see these people.
I mean,
again.
why
You're
did
never gonna
they
talk to
think
them
we
again.
wanted this? Because it was generally a pain to form groups.
They were in the process. I mean, because that's the same reason that J. Allen Brack says you think you do, but you don't. Because now you push a button and just get teleported to the dungeon. Like, no, that part of that, like, yeah, no, it sucked waiting an hour spamming for fucking need a tank, and shit like that. But in the meantime, you talked to other people. You learned who tanks were. You added them to your friends list. When that guy logged on, you got a message and you were like, bro, thank God you're here. Let's go. Like that is what, like, the community is what made the fucking game.
Yeah.
Like to take that out of the game so you can just push a button. Like you're gonna get bored. If you streamline the process to make it as easy as fucking possible, you're gonna do it 500 times and be like, this sucks. Why am I doing this? And stop fucking playing.
And I think that was the phase 2 downfall, probably into phase 3, right? And this is where MMO community is growing up. Bandwidth becomes less to focus on games, and now you have competing, conflicting interests and responsibilities that make it tough to play for the endless hours you had in phase 1 to just live in this world. And so now you're like, how do we capture all of the elements of phase 1 of our games and take a best guess and make it like frictionless so people could just jump in and do it, right?
That's
And
actually a good point.
it's tough guesses.
Because at this point, like the primary MMO audience, us as like 10 or 11-year-olds, we're now in our 20s, getting jobs.
College.
Pornhub comes out.
Yeah, starting families, all different sorts of stuff.
We're
Starting families.
We're downloading Papa Roach off LimeWire.
We're just in
We
there.
got shit to do. We gotta watch Derek comedy.
I gotta watch The Sopranos. You know, I'm
It was a simpler time. Kid Rock
like
was
the-
relevant.
the younger
The new
generations.
Strong Bad videos are coming out.
Oh man.
Strong bad vids are out there. The younger generations, they are in first-person shooters, and they're playing Grand Theft Auto, and they're playing like MLB The Show, which is just an example of a game I've never played.
I don't know about that, but yeah, go off. King.
Like Halo and Call of Duty were
Yeah.
getting super big around this time.
Xbox
And that was the
360
younger
and PS3
audience
are
for
having
sure.
the biggest. They're the biggest consoles in the world by far. Like in a way that like PlayStation and PS2, I mean, PS2 got there as well, but like PlayStation sort of never was. And they also have online capabilities. Like they have those. So like you didn't that magic of like, oh my gosh, see that guy? That's a guy over there. Like like the South Park thing, like hello.
Now
That sort of.
now you can be flamed in real time and voice over IP.
Yeah. Now I can be called the N-word like at any
Yeah.
time of day, like in any room.
Someone's
I've
gonna
got.
bang my mom for
Yeah.
sure.
Some tool.
What was
gonna let you
Dan's Microsoft name?
Boner
Microsoft-
Warrior was his name,
No,
and
no, Microsoft touches boy.
let me tell his story
I'm
for
sorry.
him since he's not here. Because I was there, I was privy to all of this and got to experience it firsthand. His original gamer tag was Boner Warrior with a 0, of course, as you're wont to do as a kid. Or a young adult.
As a 25-year-old man.
25-year-old man. Kid to me. And Microsoft forced a change, as they are wont to do. And so he put, in his finance bro-y wisdom, he's like, I'm going to use their ticker symbol, MSFT, touches kids. And I'm gonna give it to the man. And when he got into games, he got spam reported because they're like, gross, this misfit touches kids? What a fucking asshole. And like he would get spam reported until the point where I think he got banned because people chain reported him for having MSFT touch his kids. Because I was like, dude, you're really reaching if you think that 18 to 24-year-old males know stock ticker symbols for companies.
It's like, it's on the NASDAQ, bro. I would say before we move off this phase that these games introduce some pretty good ideas. Like ArcAge with like building carts and boats and stuff still resonates with me. They like, even though it was a pain in the ass, you like had to get like a backpack and go from point A to point B. Rift obviously with its public quests, but that actually probably was more of a harmer than a helper in terms of MMOs. But a lot of moving factors when it comes to phase 3, and like phase 2. And by the time we get to the end of phase 2, we're all like jaded. We're just like waiting for Diablo 3.
Filling the void from phase 1.
We just keep going back to like at this point. It's also like Warlords of Draenor and Legion, so like WoW is like popping again.
Yeah, WoW died for me with Mists of Pandaria. I just couldn't get over that. The aesthetic was so fucking weird and out of left field, and then you decide to bring in like kung fu fighting panda bears, and I was like, what the fuck are we even doing here anymore?
I mean, you know, it was introduced in like Warcraft 2.
No, it wasn't. There was a throwaway drunk character named Chen that they threw in as part of like a funny Easter egg thing. They were never written in to be an actual race. They like to say that because they think it they think it gives them the right to go do what they did, but that was awful. It was an awful fucking idea.
It was there.
And the worst part is the raids and the content in Mists of Pandaria were phenomenal.
Mists of Pandaria is peak WoW, dude. And
but the aesthetic made no fucking sense. They got so far away from high fantasy and went to like super, I don't know, just Japanese, like just Asian culture for some reason. And then they started doing real dumb shit, like the drunk monkey who shouts, "I'm going to ook you in the duker." I was like, what are we fucking doing here?
WoW is losing itself. So I can't disagree with you that WoW is sort of losing its way a little bit. But aesthetically, you look at some like those zones. If you take away the fact that like, yeah, I should be like in Warcraft right now. Like, what am I doing? Why am I not in like Western Europe? Those zones are just beautiful.
Yeah,
They are
no,
like
they were, and the raids were great too. They were fantastic.
the art direction on that expansion is out of this world good.
I couldn't agree more, man. Like Mists of Pandaria, like so I remember when I churned from WoW was also Mists. And it was like Pat, I can still hear him whispering in my ear the same way as a 40-year-old man now. He sounded exactly the same during that era. And he was like, this fucking game and its fucking Pokemon system. It has a fucking battle pet system. This fucking piece of shit. And, I remember I churned at that point too, because I was kind of, I had a wandering eye for Rift and SWTOR and Guild Wars, and I'm very much a carrot chaser with like, oh, shiny new object. And I went back and played MOP recently because I think it,
the remix.
They did remix. Yeah.
They did remix, and also they were in the Mythic. A lot of their dungeons were in the Mythic rotation during War Within, and I like had posthumous. I'm not dead. Like retroactive FOMO. Because I was like, "Fuck, man, this is beautiful." Like, I would have loved this if I had given it a chance. So
the thing that I heard that like at least made the most sense to me was that if the content of Mists of Pandaria was contained in the world of Warlords of Draenor, it would have been the best expansion ever made for any game ever.
I don't disagree with that.
The main issue with Warlords of Draenor, besides like doing player housing that was instanced and you never had to talk to anyone ever, was the complete lack of content. Like there was like a year and a half where they had one raid tier and there was nothing else to do.
Damn.
Whereas like Mists of Pandaria was packed with fucking content and all of it was fucking good. So like if you just swap those two fucking expansions with like keep the aesthetic back in like old school fucking Draenor, like what it used to look like, and give that kind of updates and those kind of raid tiers, it would have been fucking insane.
Were Worgen Miss or was that Kata?
That's Cataclysm.
Kata.
Kata.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Kata also I think got no love.
Was it?
Yeah.
Kata was Worgen and Goblins.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Gilneas. Yeah, that's right.
Were you playing that late, Steven? When did you go into? When did you turn off WoW?
I played Wrath of the Lich King.
Were you like raiding and stuff?
No, I was like grinding, but never did any raids or anything like that.
What did you play? I never really knew you played WoW.
What did I play? I was
Like what class did you play? You were a dwarf paladin?
I believe so.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
That's what the Teddy was also a dwarf paladin.
Yeah, I was usually Alliance. I was never really Horde.
Yeah, we could do a whole show about Alliance and Horde, man.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, like if I were to ever go back and play any of the MMOs, it's definitely going to be World of Warcraft. Like, I don't know what it is about it, how they captured what they did, but I mean.
Did you ever look at all like the classic servers and stuff they released? Did I ever pull you in?
Nah, because even today, like my attention span, like I need a fast in, fast out. So that's usually why I'm like a Warzone player or, fucking around doing something else.
Yeah. That makes sense. Not to, we should, maybe Mists of Pandaria might be like a good example of like the end of phase 2, frankly. Because like you go into Draenor, but like Blizzard was very distracted by the movie at that point as well.
I think Wrath.
End
of Wrath.
That was only 07, man. That was or 08. Like that was.
But I feel like End of Wrath is like the pinnacle of like where people consider classic dead, right? Like once you
I'm not
introduce
saying
the Dungeon
classic.
Finder.
I'm saying like WoW sort of lost its way, and like it was almost the end of their phase 2. But like we're sort of stretching the analogy a little bit. But like by the time these games were dead, we were all sort of looking for like a return to like basics. So I got phase 3. The Return of the Kings.
I like this line.
City Heroes Homecoming. I threw that to troll you guys. So,
no, dude, it's a great.
it's a good game.
I tried Homecoming.
Classic comes out what in 19 or 20 after like the biggest build up. Like you had like the biggest WoW streamers in the world running like a podcast about it, and they were like the whole movement of no changes. Way before that, I think in 13 or something like that, or 2012. So, that's why I was saying this sort of overlaps. EverQuest sort of recycles on itself and opens up P99. Even before that, they were doing progression servers, like official progression servers, where they would launch. It was basically just like Classic is now for WoW, but Classic EQ would come out, then 3 months later, next expansion, blah 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 blah. I had some fun on those, but you also had to pay like $15 a month. P99 was like you could easily get, and those servers died very quickly as well, because you'd quickly move out of your favorite expansion into, and you'd catch up to modern too quick. P99 took its fucking time. Like it stayed in classic EverQuest, which I think I was saying last time we talked, only lasted like 9 or 10 months before the expansion came out. Like it moved quick. Expansions were just texture packs back then. Like they added 10 levels, but for warrior, that would like they added like 3 abilities. Like, and there weren't even buttons. The abilities didn't even come on your skills bar. You had to type /discipline or /disc space and then the name of the thing.
Wow.
It didn't even have a button.
There you go.
But
macro that.
Yeah, macro that bitch. Anyway, sorry. They stayed in like classic EverQuest for like must have been like 3 or 4 years, and then so allowing everyone to sort of really enjoy it and like actually experience it at their own pace. Then they moved into Kunark for another like 3 or 4 or 5 maybe years, and then they released like the end of this of the cycle, like what they consider the best with the Velius expansion, and they've been in that ever since. And like it's been open for 15, 16, 17 years now, basically, and it's still, and they released like one more fresh server called P99 Green and just did it again, and now like everyone sort of anticipating another server being opened up eventually, but it seems like the mod sort of lost interest. But like, I mean, it's only 1,000, 1,500 people combined, but like I think it was a lot of us people who are sort of in our late 30s by now, mid to late 30s. We're tired of like the treadmill of all those WoW killers that never actually killed WoW. We're tired of WoW because WoW is in Warlord to Draenor, and it's like super hard to get into. You need like 30 mods. You need to like adjust your
do you
UI.
remember how many WoW killers there were? And WoW is still going strong to this day. And how many WoW killers?
It's probably got more concurrent subs now than it ever has had.
No, I don't think that's true.
There's I don't know ever, but there's definitely a ton more than there would be if they were just doing retail only. But them going back through, they're currently running like 15 different iterations of the same game.
And I think like as recently as 2024, there was a list that like took their subscribers and put them on a podium with the top 5, and it was like more than the next 3 competitors combined.
Yeah, it was like 8 million
more.
or something like that. It was like super high.
Crazy
they peaked at
successful
12
still.
But I think like the
many
last
WoW
time
killers though. There are many WoW killers out there.
Yeah.
I love that went away because I was like, shut the fuck up. Like every time I heard about a fucking WoW killer, I was so desensitized to the WoW killer meme. I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. That game is not going anywhere.
Yeah, that was a tough beat for a number of years.
Yeah, the main issue now is that because there were so many failed WoW killers, no one's looking to invest that kind of money in a game that they're expecting to fail.
Yep.
Well, Ashes of Creation is certainly trying.
Yeah.
Going for that title.
What have you guys heard about that game? I
played it. I played
it. Was it good?
This is the Amazon one, right?
No, that's Old
that
World.
was New World.
Or
No.
yeah,
is that done?
Well, it is technically. It is
that
now.
game's done.
They just announced that they're ceasing
shutting the servers down.
Development for it. No, they're not. They haven't announced that they're shutting the servers down. The servers are up in for now, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that was a sad day, man, because that game really started hitting a stride too, and they just dropped a new kind of not expansion, but like season. But it was like a really was a robust season where people would call it an expansion, and it was like spooky and werewolfy, and you felt like Richter Belmont, and they were like, yeah, and now we're stopping development on it, and we're canning the entire development team. It was like, wow, all right, thanks guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, all that's to say, I think that this was like the WoW killer shit. I was like, please fucking stop. Ashes of Creation though, and so I dropped. I am one of the folks that dropped the absurd amount of money to be able to play it while it was, in development.
Oh no.
Yeah, because that's who I am, and that's the kind of pedigree I bring to this conversation. Okay, I dropped $100 plus
that's not too bad.
dollars. Yeah, I think
That's
it
not
was
too
like
bad.
110.
For some reason, I was thinking it was like $500
It's
or
not.
something like that.
I am not the level of. I mean, if it was an MMO, I might be that level, but I am not the level of Star Citizen. But I'm like right in between. I'm right around there, But I played it. It's they had a very clear vision at the time to try and bring like an EverQuest modernized feel, like if WoW married EverQuest, and so like classes were much more impactful. There's a lot more friction in the game, but it was modernized tab, like a hybrid tab targeting combat type deal. But I think they're now it's on Steam and it's like in early access on Steam, so it's much more obtainable. And like I played it again. I booted up as recent as last night, and it just feels it feels like there's a lot of competing visions there, and with like a 10-year development cycle, I can see how that's the case. It just feels like a lot of systems happening and a lot of things happening, and if they could just like crystallize it into a little more clarity on like what they're going for, it would be there. But yeah, it's still got a lot of ways to go for gameplay polish perspective.
There's something about young men with spiky hair listening to Papa Roach who can really develop fucking games.
Well,
They don't make them like that anymore.
Or the history nerd who's sitting there and is like, I want to get together with some Microsoft buddies and just jam on some fucking tech stuff.
They don't make them like that anymore.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah.
They don't make them like that. In fact, I would say that like this is like an ongoing thing, industry thing, but like Eastern game dev has caught up and some would argue surpassed Western game dev in that department for being able to like put heart
Boys
and soul
with spiky
into
hair,
things.
listening to Papa Roach.
Certainly, boys with spiky hair.
I will say that Surge was discontinued in 2003.
Damn, man.
And since then, there have been no good MMOs.
Yeah. Think about it.
Is that a new Jones soda, Steven?
Heck yeah.
Oh, what are we rocking now? What's the flavor profile?
We're now Nuka-Cola Quantum.
Get the fuck out of here. That's a flavor?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
You can just drink soda like with nothing to eat. You're just pounding soda.
Yeah,
wait. What do you need, Jesse, to help soda go down?
Like food, like it's just like fizzy. It's just very fizzy sugar. Like it's like
Yeah, it's delicious.
How do you
So
drink
okay, you got a little something. I see your.
You can drink a soda without gloves?
I can't drink a can of Coke like bareback. You know, like I need something. To.
You can't just slug down a cola?
I
need
could
to-
like. If
Are you
gun to
saying you
my
need to
head.
wear a condom to drink a soda?
He's like, I coat my throat with honey because the bubbles.
I'm
hurt."
saying it's great with like a burger. Like, oh my god, nothing
For
better
sure.
than a
Yeah,
can of
it's a
Coke
good
with
companion, but it doesn't mean it's not good on its own.
I wouldn't like quench my thirst with like.
Well, no, I'm definitely
Coke.
thirsty, which is why I got the second Jones soda. But like it's there, and I wanted it, and I bought it at Costco and got a really cool bottle top opener. It was a Fallout set. I was like, I have
That's
to
cool.
get it.
Are you watching this show?
I am not.
It's a good show, man. It's a
That's
good
what
show.
I'm.
It is.
That's what I'm.
There's a
that's what I'm
Fallout
told.
show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
pretty
buddy.
good, dude.
Oh,
It's
Pat.
I had
good.
no idea.
Walter Goggins.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, I'm told it's
dude,
awesome.
check it out. It's on Prime, man. Same guys who made New World.
Yeah, I had no idea they made a Fallout series. The last one I knew of was Last of Us, and people are still talking about how Bella Ramsey looks.
Look,
the one takeaway from that entire show.
I don't get it. The show, what I watched at least, I thought was excellent, but
It was an
some people
excellent
just
show.
can't shut the
Absolutely.
fuck up about Bella Ramsey for some reason.
we're gonna put aside all like the misogynistic crazies. Like, you can not be a Twitter Nazi and also think there could have been a better job with casting.
Sure.
Like, I'm gonna put
Fair.
myself in that grade. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm gonna sit right in that zone of area.
You're talking to someone who was anti Henry Cavill as The Witcher, so
What the
I'm all
fuck is
about
wrong with you?
spicy casting.
You don't
takes.
like
Yeah,
Henry?
There you go. There you go.
You don't like Henry? I thought it was Cavill. You don't
I
like
thought
Henry
he was
Cavill?
excellent. I thought he was excellent. He did not strike me as my headcanon for
Martha.
Geralt.
Geralt.
Why did you say Martha?
No, he did. He was amazing. Like I would never. I my stance was, I think I'm not saying Liam Hemsworth is the right casting call, because obviously
Yeah,
this
it
has
is.
gone off the deep end. But I'm like, I think Liam's build was more like what, and style is more what I pictured Geralt as. But yeah, I think Henry Cavill was excellent. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that I think that could have looked different.
Okay.
That's it. Get me out of here.
Anywho, this phase sort of reminds us what we like about games. Sort of reminds us that, like, oh, it's actually community that sort of makes the whole thing. It's not like rushing to end game. It's not like one quest after another. It's like the world. Like, you want to be a citizen of the world and a part of the community. And like playing Warcraft Classic, when it came out, I mean, we all stood in the lines to finish quests, right? And it was like this communal moment of every player being like, I want to be a member. I want to be a part of this society that does this again. Sure, we all
Absolutely.
recognize it will fall apart. Like when we get to where's that zone where you're like killing the no, never mind. But like we realize Stranglethorn, yes, that's obviously that, but
it's
also
gotta be it.
what's the zone to like the south of the Undercity of Tearsfall, where you're like
Silver Pine Forest.
Silver Pine Forest,
And the
zone-
Workers
You're talking
Patrol.
about Hillsbrad Foothills. Is that what you're talking
Hillsbrad.
about?
Yeah, it's gonna fall apart when we get to Hillsbrad. It's gonna like all but we recognize now, like at level 5, like we're all trying to be a part of the society. We're trying to be nice people, like, and we're not gonna steal each other's quest mobs and stuff like that.
There's civility there, and I think like that is the magic, right? The magic is, I experienced this in Monsters and Memories the other day. There was a person who wanted a group, and they brought it up to the group, and they were like, "Hey, this person's like wants to join our group," and one of the people was like, "Fuck that guy, he is never joining my group." Because he was an asshole and he took a buff and left our party without like announcing anything, whatever. He just like took a buff from us and like left us hanging. I'm never playing with that guy.
He took a buff from us. He took
like
a buff?
he got buffed from everyone. Like he got buffed.
Oh.
Like he didn't take the
So
buff, but like he got buffed.
asked to join the group.
Asked to join
he
the group.
Came there. They buffed him, and he was like, "Thanks for the buffs, peace."
And like, but no call, no show. Like just like dipped at a party, didn't like respond. You know, like cold dropped, and like disconnected, whatever. But either way, they were now on a shit list community wise. And like that person did not get a group because of their personal reputation. And like personal brand means a lot in these games. And being a shitter gets you fucking locked out and like socially locked out. And you could become ostracized because of it. And like they ain't no dungeon finder. You're just fucked for being an asshole. So like choose wisely. Choose your fucking path wisely. You're gonna have a much harder game in front of you.
Ain't no dungeon finder here.
Good luck getting your quest done, shaman. That fucking mine sucks.
I don't know why I became Delroy Lindo, but
I was with you on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's one of those things where your personal brand, like, and you could see that as WoW goes on and Dungeon Finder and anonymity is much more prevalent. Like you just get fucking assholes a lot more than in games where you could self-police because there was tons of friction otherwise. You're like, I can't be an asshole.
Our guild right now runs GDKPs all the time. If you don't know what that is, it's where you bid on items for gold, and then everyone, after you win it, the gold gets split amongst everybody who joins the raid. So it incentivizes people who are geared, who just want to make money, to go there and get money. And so it's, if you don't get anything, at least you're getting something out of it, like, a cut of gold. But there was a guy who was in our guild for a very long time, and then he left, and now he talked a whole bunch of crap about all of us. And now he wants back into the GDKPs because we are the biggest GDKP running guild on the server, and the other guilds that attempt to do it I can't, and they're terrible, and like it's just awful. So like we now have like the rep of being the best. We run the most out of the week, and this guy still is messaging like, tell your fucking officer corps to let me back in the raids. And we're like, fuck you, buddy. Like you're out. Like you're never coming back.
Yeah.
You're going to be blacklisted forever.
Go in the wasteland and die in obscurity, my friends.
And
You're getting no
everyone
food
knows.
here.
Yeah, everyone knows he's on our shit list. If he somehow gets accidentally invited to a raid, someone in there will be like, he's not allowed to be here. We boot him, and it's over. And he'll never raid with us ever again.
Look
I love
that. How satisfied
awesome.
Jesse looks.
It
from
is.
that
It's
story.
awesome. It's the self-policing, like it forces you to just not be a fucking shithead.
Yeah.
Like it lets you, and like just having consequences for your actions feels so good.
100.
The second order of that
so
is that
good.
it's a real world. You're part
Yeah.
of a real world. Like you're not in a lobby. Like every game is a lobby now, man. Like it's just a fancy lobby.
Ooh,
Like
put that. That's
it's
that's heavy.
everything's a
Poetic.
lobby, bro.
Everything's a lobby.
Man. We
But
should have called this
Steven-
Phase 3 Death of the Lobby.
Death of the lobby. Return of the social. I don't know. Social policing.
Return of being able to use the R word.
No. No. Steven and I. Well, Steven was kind of a grifter. I was a little bit of a grifter too, but at times. But like, I think Steven in Ultima was very and Steven, you have the story of like how you finessed your way to a lot of handouts, right?
But you need people like that too. Like
You need
that's
that.
also a thing.
But it's because you were cool that you were able to get that stuff, right? Like being cool was like a.
Or you were a girl.
I don't know, Steven. You tell your story. You had a story, right, of getting stuff from Britbank. Is that you? I have tons of stories.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I was the one that did the skill boosting and then got permanent.
Well, that's your cheating days. You have those too.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I don't. I mean,
I-
outside of
I've
like
done it.
playing the habitual younger brother and just getting like hand me down gears. I mean, I made my way.
Yeah.
I remember doing it in UL, like taking off stuff, putting on noob gear, and like rolling a female character, and just being like, I don't have anything. Can somebody please hook me up with something?
Yep.
Just throw a little heart emoji.
The female character is such a
Yeah,
touch.
it's very important.
Get ready.
Get that female character out there. They get a lot
Dude,
of money.
it works. I
Slash
wouldn't have done it
dance,
if it
buddy.
didn't work.
You better get your ass out of that crate and start slash dancing.
I think I remember distinctly there were times where just being a good and kind person, regardless of like if I was trying to get something or not, would usually yield pretty fruitful results, and you'd build a decent reputation as part of it. Or being
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
a comedian or whatever, like even in Monsters and Memories, sitting like, and this I think I defined this or I explained like why I wanted to play shaman. It's because like necromancer, which is the other class I'm considering, necromancer is a very selfish class. It's a very cool class, I love it, but it's a very selfish class. And like so much of Monsters and Memories, EverQuest, Ultima is downtime in combat and just chilling and building a community and like being able to hand out it's like bringing the beer to the party, right? Like you're always the person that could bring beer to the party, and people just love having you around. And like it's so useful. Like the amount of people that know me by like my character
I
name
think
is
Shrek 2 get people, yeah. Like, that's,
my character name is Shrek 2.
not Shrek. You
Shrek
could have
2,
gotten Shrek
because
if
it's
you
the best
wanted.
one. No, fuck that. It's the best one, and I will proudly represent it. And I got to pick my surname. Big moment for me. My first surname in any EverQuest style game ever.
Oh, wow. Oh,
My first
wow.
one, and I picked only on Peacock because that's what it's streaming on right now. Shrek 2, so Shrek 2 only on Peacock. And and people just gravitate more. I've gotten Farquaad Watch Over You back to me. Like people are like, "Hey, Shrek 2," like, and it's just from like sitting around the bank throwing those people telling them Farquaad Watch Over You as they
Yeah.
go off on their adventure.
Yeah.
But you just don't get that.
You don't get it. Any final thoughts on the Return of the Kings here? Like, 'cause it sort of brings us now, because this reminded us we like this type of game, which inspired a bunch of indie devs to start making modern versions of these games?
I don't know if I would consider Monsters and Memories a modern version of it. It is definitely old school everything
Well,
in
let me-
looks,
yeah.
feel, and everything like that. It's a newer game, but it
Yes,
certainly doesn't
that's a
play
better
like
word.
it's a newer
Yeah.
game.
It's an undiscovered. It's like a alternate timeline version of these games where like not every
for
problem is
sure.
solved.
What I think, the Phase 3 coming back and the success of classic WoW, to a lesser extent, Project 99, it's like it lets people know that there's still a demand and still a crowd for this, and so like Monsters and Memories could not be releasing at a better time. Like my hype for it is like I've done WoW, like I've done classic WoW, I've rated next now for like 2 years straight. I know TBC is coming out. I will probably dip a toe into it or not, but like I'm way more excited to play Monsters and Memories than I am TBC for a third time.
Yeah.
Like this is now, it's like it's what I'm looking for, the old school style game with the things and elements that I like, but it's new.
Yeah, a lot of chicks too.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's a good way to, I think, to put a cap on it. Does anybody else have any sort of final thoughts? We're gonna wrap every show with where we're at with classes. So think about where you're at with classes because that's our ongoing bit. But any final thoughts on the project we've just been going through for the last hour and change?
I have a final question for everyone. That is to answer your question.
Steven, did you hear
What is
these?
that letter? What is that letter that they're saying?
That's what I got.
It sounds like the j noise, but for the AE, with the connected AE symbol, it's like the j equivalent. It's like
Get ready. It's time for Monsters and Memories.
the starting off with get ready is like such a good bit, and it didn't even mean to do it. But
Nope.
every band should do it.
I did not hear those. And that was
You didn't hear
phenomenal.
these?
No.
Hey yo, let's go! It's Monsters and Memories time, baby!
This doesn't have it. Doesn't have the j. It's good.
The jizz are better.
It's got a dope beat though. Like that. I
It's
wish
got a
it
good
was
beat.
better because like the music was solid.
Yeah.
Get ready! It's time for Monsters and Memories!
I could see this headlining the Game Awards. This is headlining the Game Awards. I could see it like
the jazz hands at the end.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Get in here! It's Monsters and Memories time!
Oh, okay. So we got the Full House.
Yeah. Hey, that was like exactly what we said. Also, the
Hey,
floor
no.
kind of drops out from that one. I wanted to go
Yeah.
a little bit longer.
for sure.
Is this thing on? Come on, yo, it's a 1-2, a 1-2. Just let me have this podcast, proudly presents Monsters and Memories time, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is good.
I don't know why I waited so long to drop the beat, but
The presents is that's solid too.
oh.
All right.
I need
Can't
some
wait to be at my
presets.
next like,
Presents.
yeah, I can't wait to be at my next exec meeting and be like, all right, y'all ready for my presentation?
Did I play this one? Sorry, I'm like losing track.
It's Monsters and Memories time, baby. Let's go.
It's so good.
That's a good one. Too.
It's like a competition where it is putting groups up against each other to go the longest time before it's uncomfortable without saying actual words, and they just keep getting longer with noises. No,
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the next time I come back, we have like 2,400 viewers, and those viewers send in like our intro music.
Oh my god, that would be incredible.
Holy shit.
So,
The
like,
side of
if
my
you're
head hurts.
listening,
I'm sweating
send
from
them
laughing
in.
at those.
Those are all. All right, where are we at with classes? Let's do a final burst
Well,
around.
wait. I had a legit
Yeah, we
question.
forgot the question.
Like,
Oh, I'm
what
sorry,
is
I'm
what
sorry.
is your
I'm sorry.
favorite memory from all of the phases? And Jesse, you've done
I'll
a great
tell you.
job hosting this, so I'd love you to go first.
Favorite memory? I don't want to go. I don't want to do phase 1 because I talk about it at request a lot. I want to talk about phase 2, despite the fact that it was the worst. I have a distinct memory of Warhammer being a dwarf iron breaker. Pat was playing a rune
Rune Priest.
Rune Priest, and that game had detection, like collision detection. So you could hold things, and like the big mini game, the PvP game mini game. This is, I think, in our 20s, so it was like tier 2 or maybe tier 3. So you had a little bit of juice. You looked pretty cool, and you could put yourself, and like the whole thing was like the bad guys wanted to come capture your fort and like so defend your fort. And like you could put yourself on the stairs, like you were the width of the stairs, and you could just like shield, like you could do it. You could hold them
body
back.
block, yeah.
And I just like it's like a core memory where Pat was just pumping heels into me,
Yep.
and I was just full like Ironbreaker, like "Gish," like
You
it was
shall not
so
pass.
cool. It was, and we held the fort, you know, like they got close, like the fucking elven archers were shooting all the things, the orcs got past them and stuff like that. Like our bright wizards are dropping nukes on everybody, but like they got to the door, but we held them back. Phase 2 is the worst, but like probably one of the highest highs, because it actually went as designed. Like the design actually worked for a day.
The early days of that combat system of like the fort, attack defense game was awesome, but then they just never really did anything with it. Like it was like that was it. You could do that like once every 8 hours, and that was it.
Yeah.
You describe it
never
as
really
if
went
you were
anywhere.
actually there, which I love. Like it's a tactile
Other games didn't have it,
description.
right? Like
It's a vivid
collision,
memory.
Yeah, collision detection sort of wasn't a thing, and
Yeah.
PvP was and all the other games were really floaty and airy, and yeah, they just really nailed that, at least on that day. How about you, man, Chris?
Oh, me? Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, several memories, but I think like
but no
the top-
monsters.
no monsters. I think the memory that is always top of mind for me for gaming experience, but is not a necessarily good memory, is when my brother, not Steven, Elliot, took my katana, my power katana, and lied about it and created a real life problem between us because he got in really good with Pat and Joe because of it. I don't remember how it all came to pass. I just remember feeling immense betrayal because he stole it from me. And that's the type of human I am, where games meant that much to me, to where I had a real life problem with my family and friends because I got a thing stolen from me and gaslit that they didn't steal it from me.
No, I didn't take that. No, I didn't take it.
And that was pretty much it. And I was like, dude, you definitely did. You didn't earn that. I know you didn't earn that, and I'm missing it. Like, I know you did it. And it took years
It's like
before he
it's
came
like
clean.
like a dusty spot on your mantle, or like a non-dusty spot.
Years. I wish he was here for this episode, because I would love to hash that out with him again and get his perspective on it. And I will save it for another episode. But that's my core gaming memory from that phase, and that just showed how much it meant. You know, it meant so much. Pat, go ahead.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, God, I don't know if I can pick just one memory from all of these. And it's tough because like they're all going to be World of Warcraft related for me for the most part, because that's the game I've been playing for like 25 years.
That's fine.
I don't know. I like finally clearing like AQ40 was fucking insane.
Were you there when it
stepping foot into
opened the
Knights and doing
tomb?
it.
Did you make sure you were there for the tomb opening?
What?
Were you there when they like opened, like they finished the big quest and they opened like they opened AQ?
Oh, the first time around I was like in to 2006 I was around for
Oh,
that.
cool.
So 2005, 2006, I was there
the
for the
slideshow.
opening for that. I remember, I remember, turning in all the warband items and stuff to open the gates and doing the war effort. You needed like copper bars and bandages and all
Yeah.
sorts of dumb shit. But yeah, I remember I was there for the first time around. I do remember at that point we had just stopped trying to clear AQ40. We never finished it. So going back and doing that in 2020, 2021 was fucking awesome to be able to finally say that I did that and then stepping foot into Nax. I mean, I have an ATS now, which is the legendary, which is incredible. It would have been way cooler to do it back in 2006, but it still
but you
feels
got
good
it.
now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is
What about you,
the
Steven?
opening of AQ40 our generation's "The boys are coming home from Germany, victorious"? Is that
The opening of the gates was the laggiest fucking thing that's ever happened ever. The servers could never fucking handle it. And even when they redid it again in 2021, it was just as bad, if not worse, than it was the first time around.
Oh no.
Because now they
Classic.
had they had layering in today. Like back then the servers were capped, so like they could only have a certain amount of people in there. So this was like 8 times the amount of people sitting at the gate. They couldn't handle it at all. It was like you couldn't see shit. Like the screen would just go black, nothing would be moving, and then you'd be like dead and 5,000 yards in a different direction. Like what the fuck just happened?
Being like Silithus.
Yeah.
Rubber banding? You could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
There
Steven.
are some clips in the fuck, I can't think of his name, the Barney Adventures, those World of Warcraft videos, which if you haven't seen them are the best fucking videos that have ever been made. He's there for the opening of that, and there are ginormous beetles, which is the biggest model in the game for an enemy, and they would punt you, and like cross a zone punt you. So like it would be just completely lagged, and you'd be standing there, and all of a sudden it would cut, and your character would just be flying across the
That's
map. You're like,
awesome.
what the fuck just happened? It was incredible.
That's awesome.
Sorry, Steven. Go ahead, bud.
I'll take you back. So this would have been, I guess, your the summer of your senior year. So it's the summer of my 8th grade year. It's going into 9th grade. Take you back to my mom's house. It's the summer. It's hot as balls. I got a fucking box fan in the window. I got like a 6 CD changer boombox in my room with a fucking cassette tape, spot
Playing nothing
still.
but Mace.
No, I'm actually playing a mix CD that I put both Saturate and So Cold from Breaking Benjamin on one
Wow.
CD because it was an MP3 CD.
It all fit. It all
Oh,
fit
yeah.
on one
It
CD.
all fit.
Wow.
It all fit. So I had that in the background. I had like one of those corner desks, with the CD-ROM slots, this
Yep,
old,
yep.
like fucking tubular gateway monitor,
Yeah.
off-white tower. And I'm sitting there and it's so hot. It's 1 a.m. And I remember having built, previous shards for Ultima, but like this one was like the one. I had created a forum. I had already built like a good 20 follower following, and we were ready for launch. And it's I got the fucking music going, snacks flowing, and I just remember like
Sally Jesse Raphael in the background on the
bliss
TV.
and the beauty of building the shard. And it was this particular night where I'm like yelling at Doug because we're spawning dungeons and trying to populate it with monsters, and it's just not going right. So I'm trying to build the last finishing touches on a town that we have a kickoff campaign for, and it just was this managing this orchestra heading into the 9th grade and customizing with C++. And just remember spending a whole night on this goddamn fucking thing. We launch it, I go to bed, and the server never ran with so many fucking errors. So then we were delayed another fucking week. But that one night I remember no, dude, we got to do everything. We have to get it ready. We have to get it going, and fucking turn the server on.
We are making this happen.
Dude,
Fucking fell asleep.
Steven legit launched a game.
Yeah.
Like legit,
should've-
you coded the shit out of, and yes, obviously you had source code to draw on, but like you built custom systems too, right? You built like custom classes and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was legit too, man. Like I remember that was like we were going through the shard building phase, and
Yeah.
I had narratively written out a shard, but like never executed on it. And you got this thing to life. You built custom classes in it. You had a full like marketing campaign. You actually like legit game developed
Yeah.
and launched.
Yeah. It was the first time I ever understood like coding languages or what a GUI was, because then you can start like manipulating it, and like it, well, all you have to do is find it in the code, and like, oh shit, control F is a thing. And yeah, man. And when you're, it's the summer and you have no obligations and it's a much simpler time, and everyone's focused on your older brother, you can do whatever you want,
Everyone's focused on the slide in there.
Dude, that shit was legit. Like, no joke. That is actual like game dev massive street cred to be able to do that and bootstrap it. And you were like coder, you were marketer, like you were community builder. You have literally all of the aspects of development and publishing down. You had to design classes, like you did all of it.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, it was-
relatively sure I played that. I don't.
I think we
I don't
all
think I
did.
played it for a while, but I definitely remember playing it. Because I remember Chris reaching out to me and being like, "Steven made a server." I was like, "Shut the fuck up." And
Yeah, like the best thing I think too is when, because like you always like spawned in Brit, right? Or you always spawned wherever, but like then you can start creating your own places where they spawn, walking them through different gates, starting with different stories, like picking your classes different ways. It was just, and like, oh hey, I'm gonna walk through this moon gate. But really, if I code this moon gate and then I set the coordinates and then I can set skills through the moon gate, like, oh my God, now this player walks through this like immersive experience. They become this warrior and off to the races you go.
Did your cheating and completely stealing a PvP victory from me in Shattered Alliance, was your like coding and accessing those admin controls, was that like your foray into wanting to do this? I'm just curious if those are linked, because
They're 100% linked, and it's 100% built on, whether it was, your ability to outsmart or outthink multiple steps ahead roleplay wise, or whether it was, Pat's butcher knife experience, or, Elliot's, just being a fucking mage and stealing and relentlessly, or deleting my fucking accounts, because he had access to my PC, everyone had a niche, so I needed to pivot.
had a niche. Everyone had a niche.
Everyone knew how to do something but me. So I was like, if I can steal all these little pieces that I love from all these other elements and just put them into one, now I'm happy.
It's such an awesome, it's like story arc for getting into the game dev side of things. It's just like a fascinating story.
Can I?
If I could build a UR shard now, I would do it. I would fucking do it tomorrow. I have a child.
I'll play
I
that. I'll
can't
play
do
that fucking
but-
shard.
You
I don't even know how
can.
to play out. I play that shard. Where we at with classes, boys? Where's everyone's class head at? This is our final segment for the night.
Lead us off,
Me,
buddy.
stop. Well, you know me. Now I'm still pretty deep in
Are you a wizard yet?
No, I'm not a wizard, Harry. But am I still sharing? No, I'm not. I was thinking, like, if it just sort of depends. Like, are we gonna be religious about a static like Friday night Game Boys thing? Because if we are, then it sort of changes my. If there's no pressure for me to level in my off time, it changes my equations. That's what I'll tell you that.
Yeah, don't count on me.
Steven, put on a shirt. Steven's moniker.
on
Don't
me.
count on me.
It's a picture
I
of his
don't-
own face.
I don't plan on playing much outside of our group. So even if like I did, it wouldn't be enough that I would get to a point where I wouldn't be able to play with you anymore. If that makes sense. Like I wouldn't be on for like 12 hours a day so that every time we log in on Friday I'm 9 levels ahead of you.
Yeah.
If we'd be within 1 or 2 regardless.
I can
That's-
100% commit to a Friday thing. I cannot 100% commit my main to that. because I
Yeah.
will probably play on my own too. I'm level
Yeah.
20 on my shaman, just like fucking around.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think I will probably have 2 characters, one that I play on Fridays, and I can hold that and make sure that it is sacred.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
what like
one,
we can do is like no one can go like above 2 levels or something like that on their mains above
well,
the group. Like you set like a thing.
so the way it works is like the ability to group spreads as you get
Yeah,
as
it
you
goes.
get,
Yeah,
it's 10 levels. So like I'm
Yes,
grouping with 29s at 20, you know, and it's okay.
you're absorbing a ton more. Those 30s are taking a ton more experience
Sure,
from you
yeah.
though. But
It's viable.
but I think for our own like sanity, like if we kept it within like 2 or 3 levels of each other, we would still feel like we're contributing. I'll tell you
Yeah.
like what's like why that spurred my thought, because I was like, if Pat's so deep into Inquisitor and like Chris is like pretty thinky, shamey, like there's a lot of overlap there with an enchanter, because like Pat can mess things. Pat's gonna get a haste. Pat's gonna get tranquility. like, and I like, and it'll feel bad for him if I have all those spells, and he's like, well, no one wants to use my spells. You know, like why am I getting these spells? And like, there's some overlap there. So I was thinking something different, you know, just sort of get off that train.
And then I'll start playing a cleric, and it'll be fine.
Well, we had
Just play.
we had
you, man.
we had our Inquisitor expert on Reddit come in and talk to us about they group with a enchanter primarily, and they said it was fine. Like there was enough.
I know
of a
it's
difference.
fine.
There's
I know
10.
it's
There's 10.
fine.
You only have 10 buttons. You know, like, and an ink is gonna have a much different button pressy than a enchanter
Yeah.
is going to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in here and just let you boys know I got a jet.
All right, dude.
Yeah, it's
All right,
about that
buddy.
time.
Thanks for hanging.
Yeah, man. Good to see you guys.
What
Love
class
you boys.
do you want to play? What class do you want to play? If you do want to play, just pick it out of a hat.
It
Of
is.
course.
Sha.
Thanks, Steven, our paladin.
Later, brother.
Peace, Stevie.
Forever my paladin.
Pat, you should leave too. I'll stay on with you, Chris, if you want to talk. If you want to keep
I can talk
theorying.
for a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Same.
I'm starving to death as we speak.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go die then.
All right, man.
I love you, buddy.
you
Like I
around.
said, I'm either Inquisitor or cleric. There's really not a whole lot of in between. I know for sure I'm not gonna be playing any of the DPS classes. It'll either be tank or healer, and right now that means Inquisitor or cleric, one or the other,
Okay.
or both, maybe both. ¿Por qué no los dos?
Okay, no longer.
Pat's decision influences my decision.
I know
So-
it's like a game of like
it's,
it's like a
yeah,
prisoner's
it's like
dilemma.
who's gonna blink first, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a prisoner's dilemma.
Yeah. I probably will. I think maining my priest will be. Sorry, am I using the archetypes right there? It is a priest archetype, right? Like the healer classes.
Yes, I think that's okay to say. It is confusing a little bit if you.
Okay, so maining a healer would probably be, I think, community-wise, like for my free time, I think simpler for me because I just think it'll be like getting groups as a healer will be.
So that would be your main. Okay. Got
I
it.
think
And
I would lean that towards my main. So like that puts me on necro, but I can also druid. Like I don't mind running 2 healers. I'm okay with that.
I
Or
know when you
cleric,
were
whatever.
describing this last week, I was like, you should just play a druid. Like you should just.
I know it's tough. Like I can't. I think you have ruined druids for me with the unique snowflake and how not a unique snowflake I will be.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that is the same reason that I'm like, just something doesn't have the shine, you know.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
your like? What's your conflict?
I
as
just
far as-
know I have like, so I really love Enchanter. I got him to level 12, like no problem. Like they're not going to change charm. I saw like Nick talk about it, so like it's fine.
Okay.
But like I'm not going to be soloing if we're going to have like a steady. So I'd rather play like an optimal like group class, something that, because I also know myself that like casters, it's not my first inclination to play. Like I don't like,
Yeah.
I like playing melee guys, especially in games like this. So it's like, but when Pat says like I'll either be a tank or a cleric, it's like, ugh.
That's drastic.
And then every other person we know is like, I'm gonna be a paladin, but Jeff and Steven are not gonna play, right?
It's me, you, Pat, then oops, all paladins. Paladins the whole way down.
Basically, yeah. So it's basically paladins all the way down. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, that's not fun for this segment. Pick two. Or pick something. If you had to pick.
Rogue.
Wow, what the fuck? Then where'd that come from?
If it's a group class, like rogues are top, man.
They're amazing. Yeah, I
pumping and clumping.
But like, you were ranger, druid. Monk.
Never monk in this game.
When we sat around the campfire and first talked,
yeah.
Okay. And then I'm just going through your journey map, and now rogue is out of nowhere. You will have picked every class. Enchanter. Before we get to
it's because I have to like figure out how we're going to play as a group.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're thinking rogue, I mean, yeah. Well, I'd have to heal if we were going three. We will need.
No,
one
you wouldn't,
healer
because if Pat played,
if he goes cleric, I'll go. Well, we won't have a tank then. Because I don't have a tank in my. I don't have a tank in my rotation.
Maybe I'll just play a fighter. Well, like if I play a fighter, we're gonna have a bunch of paladins walking around, which is fine.
Well,
really.
Dude, from what I've heard, fighters are like they're like arms warriors in this right now. Now, I don't know what that means for later, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. This is gonna be quite a conundrum on who blinks first. Like, I'm pretty hard locked. I'm gonna dabble in some. I'm gonna start going wide a little bit because I'm like, I don't know how deep I want to go and burn myself out on leveling.
That's why I kind of stopped. I was like, I need to stop playing this because I'm gonna have trouble like just doing this whole section again.
Yes, yeah,
when the game's in early access.
Yes.
So I got to 12. I got my level 12 spells, and I was like, okay, like.
I think the thing that encourages me, and like the thing that I really will make this a multi-100-hour game for me, is like, I love like it just becomes another thing on a screen while I'm also watching a thing, and it's so easy to just do other stuff while you play this game. You know, like,
I learned how to play guitar during
TED
a
Talks. Yeah, like I put on TED Talks. It's just like a nice little wind down activity for me, and it has like moments of flourish and excitement, but like for the most part, it's fucking chill. Like I'm just chilling with the friends. I had a funny experience. We had a funny bug the other night where we were in Shaded Dunes leveling, and all of a sudden, like a dust storm hit. And you've had the dust storms hit, right?
Yeah, it sucks.
But now have the dust storms with like
look who's in chat.
Oh, what's up? No, well, we could be your father figures. You miss your actual father.
We're your daddies now.
We're your new father.
Call me daddy.
What a modern family we are.
Yeah.
2 father figures and a father. We were in Shaded Dunes, a dust storm hit, and on top of the dust storm, all of a sudden, like 12-foot fucking waves were like crashing over us, and we were all underwater, and it would happen randomly. And so, but like, it was all the visuals were client side, so like suddenly certain people would be underwater, but you couldn't see it. And like our goblins would just start floating away because they would start like I have some great screenshots I could share of like our goblins just floating away, like doing this animation.
That's cool.
And like just crazy tidal waves. So I don't know if bug or feature, but it was like a crazy.
That's cool.
We reported it because we're like, what the fuck is this?
Dust storms are rough though. They're rough.
Dust storms are rough. I actually really like that. It's so cool that like, and again, it's the whole like, making the journey have more friction is fine because like the journey is the game, right? And like it sucks when a dust storm hits, but you have to pivot and figure out what you're going to do as a group. Sometimes we were just like, hey, we're going to take a 15-minute break and check back in. You know, that's what it is.
So yeah, if we get like a 3 core, if we played like 3, Fridays a month kind of a thing, then it would sort of change my calculus. Especially if Pat's playing an Inquisitor, I would probably just play like. Well, he would be a good puller too. An Inquisitor would probably be a good puller because they can lull and placate and stuff like that. And obviously, they can mez. So we wouldn't need like a monk or a bard pulling. You just want to almost index on like max damage at that point.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. So I don't know.
That rogue is good.
I envision like our last show before like EA comes out as like a draft. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to figure out like you're gonna move your class into like your slot, so it'd be like, oh,
I'm so languishing. Like I'm shaman. I'm sticking out shaman, but I do feel like I'm sticking out shaman. But this is the thing. Like this is the discipline aspect of these old games where I'm like, I think that I'm gonna hit a wall and have class envy on every class. So I think I just need to keep pushing through. If I like for whatever drew me to this class, I need to keep pushing through to see more of the kit because I think
yeah.
I'm just gonna have class envy and grass is greener syndrome on every single class to some degree.
Yeah, I mean that's but like Necro is the only one that's like calling you like deep.
Well, Necro again, I only played till like 14 or 13 or 14. So
Yeah.
like yeah, like it calls to me as much as I don't know what if
We don't
my
know. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know how a group is gonna actually utilize a Necro towards endgame and like what the actual play style is gonna be. And I think
Yeah.
that stuff is the hard part where it's like if my only thing is mana battery, that's cool. Like I enjoy that playstyle, but it's like there are more engaging classes like enchanters a way cooler mana battery, you know?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I don't know what my like, but I think Necro is the one whose kit just seemed to make it's just click, it just scratch the itch in my brain
Yeah.
for this one. So we'll see though, but I'm gonna try some others and see where I'm at. Druid was also very, very cool. But again, like I think Druid and Necro equal class wise to me, but Necro gets the dominant edge because of how few will be played compared to Druid.
Truth.
And I'm sure there'll be a lot of Necros, but I think most Necros, many people are playing Necros because they can solo.
Mm-hmm.
And like me, I'm fine with grouping as a Necro and doing whatever
Yeah.
a group needs as Necro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who fucking knows, dude?
Who fucking knows? We just basically need I don't know, like one part of me says like I need these other guys to sort of lock in so I can work around that. But the other part of me is like, no, this is the game where you choose the thing you want to play and you'll like find a play style that you will sort of enjoy. Even if we don't have the perfect like core like tank cleric DPS or tank healer DPS, like we will find a way to play. Like we will find.
I'm gonna save this take for my healer. It might be a spicy take, but I actually found I had more fun personally playing the game suboptimally group wise and figuring out how to make it work
Yeah.
than I do playing it optimally.
Yeah.
And like um we had a rogue tank for us because we couldn't do anything. And we were tanking, we were going after whites, yellows, and some reds for me. And I think our my rogue was a couple of levels higher, so it was like yellows for them for sure. Um, and like I actually needed to use my debuffs, and my debuffs made a huge fucking difference. It made the rogue tankable, right? Like it made it a serviceable tank because like debuffing with enervation and making sure that they were hitting slower and then like draining their strength actually mattered and made them tanky by proxy. And so like it just I felt so much more impactful. And like it's that whole thing when in like WoW where I like if someone left a dungeon or leaves a dungeon, I'm like, dude, let's try and format it rather than just bail. You know, like I just love like that is my why I play stuff is like trying to break the game or trying to like figure out suboptimal ways to play because it's just fun to overcome those challenges sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's not
So
efficient.
It's that spirit where you're like, I just want to play what I want to most have the fun with, like what I most want to be.
Yeah. And like I think we can make most 3 stacks work. Most. We will need someone to be able to take hits with heavier armor, and we will need someone who can make life bars go up. But outside of that, I think we can make most things work. It just will be slower.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the worst possible 3-stack. It's like a rogue. So
We had a ranger, dude. Our ranger, like the ranger kite tanking, is also a thing. It's suboptimal,
It's real.
but it's fucking
Yeah.
real. Like
Yeah,
it was
you
awesome.
snare.
Like we did that. Yeah, he was snaring, running around like a madman. I was like, I had to pick my heal windows because you can't get aggro. But it was fun too. Like it was just an interesting. Like I had to actually pay attention, you know, and like
Yeah,
I don't mind
yeah.
that. So I'm
So-
open to anything. I'm down to be creative and try something. So.
All
Well,
right,
gun to your
let's end
head.
it there.
You could pick anything. What would you pick? You could pick anything.
That's really tough. So I like the first thing I thought was fighter, only because yickety do yickety bing bong, wiki tacky toe tongue. The first thing I thought was fighter when you said that, only because they're just like a heat-seeking missile. I guess what I like to play, like, not the generalist classes, but the specialist classes in this game, or not
Yeah.
the hybrids, the actual things that the hybrids are based on.
They do super
Just
well,
because they're
right?
so focused and they're so good at what they do.
Yep.
I really don't want to play a healer, like, as much as it sort of makes sense to. I don't want to play a healer.
Then don't.
I think our lives would be a lot better, and my life would be a lot better with like ports and stuff. So a wizard, sort of like, you can you can do all kinds of kiting and stuff with a wizard and just blow stuff up.
Fuck. Druid makes sense there.
Druid makes sense there, yeah. But like a lot of things can ensnare. You know,
Yeah.
like necros can ensnare as well.
Yeah.
A necro wizard duo is like a pretty rock and roll duo. Like, you're snaring things and you're kiting things.
Yep.
And a rogue behind them. It's like poking stuff. Like, you can sort of make it all work. So
Yeah. So if we picked the ideal classes for whatever you wanted to play, what would you pick?
I have no idea, dude.
Okay. So this is predicated on the group then.
That's really hard. Well, if we had a 6-man, I would probably say a ranger, just
Wow.
because you could sort of absorb it. But because we only have 3 core, then I think we need to be a little more focused.
Okay. And you gotta, if I go healer, we have a tank, you gotta bring the heat then.
Yeah, exactly. Or if we let Pat keeps like teasing us with like, I'll just play cleric, I'll just play cleric. It's like, well, if Pat plays a cleric and you play a necro, then I can play a tank, and we have a 3 stack.
That's very true.
All right.
And that would put me on my shaman main. That would work too.
Yeah. So
We'll see if Pat gets a hold of a key and can play a little bit, and then figure out what he likes and what he doesn't like.
yeah, we got to get him a key. A key of cocaine. What could you possibly be talking about?
That's our guy.
LPK plays, he drums to the spirit of his own drum.
George. Hi, George.
George, how did you just find my father's podcast?
All right, let's get this show out of here.
All right, let's get this started.
Let's fucking pack this up.
Let's pack it up, guys. Thank you for joining. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks all.
Podcast. This is a podcast. Just let me have this podcast.
And we're off.